Welcome to Word from the House. I'm Ricky, I'm your host, and we're here to talk about things that matter, things like faith, life, and leadership, and living life with intention. Now, look, if you're new here and you value real, honest, faith-filled conversations, then make sure you like and you subscribe. Because look, we're building a community here, not just a channel. We're building a community, and we really would love for you to be a part of it. There's a story in the Bible where Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's telling them that as long as they live in this world, there's going to be opportunities for them to be offended, for them to get hurt, for somebody to say or do something that's going to cause them grief and pain, and for them to just be offended. And so when Jesus tells them that, they look at Jesus and they say, "Lord, increase our faith." And I thought it was interesting that when this happened, these disciples, they had traveled with Jesus. They had seen him do miracles. They had watched him raise the dead. They had seen him heal the sick and open blind eyes and cast out demons and all these things. And not one time did they say, "Lord, increase our faith." It was only when Jesus said, "You're going to run into people who are going to give you an opportunity to get upset, to get hurt, and for you to hold an offense." And that's when they said, "Lord, increase our faith." And what that tells me is your greatest test of faith is going to be your interaction with other people, how you get along with people. You know, I don't know if you're like most people, but sometimes our greatest challenges can come from family. It can come from those closest to us, those we know the most and those that know us the most. And that's where your greatest test of faith will be given the opportunity to be offended, is how you interact with people every day of your life. Forgiveness is a decision you have to make. And it's really, and I'm going to repeat this several times, forgiveness is not an option. We're commanded to forgive. As Christians, we're commanded. The great thing about it is what God requires of you, God supplies and provides for you, meaning he provides the grace you need to forgive. But it's a decision that you have to make, that you're going to forgive someone. You know, Jesus said in his word that if you don't forgive, you won't be forgiven. And it's interesting because that's not just a cute verse, that's powerful. Actually, it's a terrifying verse, because here's the problem. We've redefined forgiveness into something that feels spiritual. We think it means being civil, but in reality it doesn't. It actually means something far more violent to your pride. So let's get into this. You say you've forgiven them, but you still think about it every single day. You still feel it. You feel it when their name comes up. And maybe, just maybe, you still bring it up when you get angry and upset. But here's the truth. That's really not forgiveness. That's just silent resentment with better appearance. Here's how we fake forgiveness. We say things like, "I don't really wish them harm anymore, but I'm not really angry and upset, but hey, I've moved on with my life, but." And then we call it healthy boundaries. But you know, the Bible calls it something else. Unforgiveness with a smile. It's interesting, there's a Greek word for forgive that's really interesting, and it doesn't mean I'll be civil. What it means is to release, to send away, to let go completely. It means you open your hand and drop it, like standing over a cliff and just letting it go. Paul said in Ephesians chapter 4, forgive one another as God in Christ has forgiven you. Notice, again, this is not a suggestion, it's a command. So let me ask you, how did God forgive you? Did he say things like, I'll forgive you, but I'll never forget? Does he keep a list? Does he bring up your past continually? No, absolutely not. Psalm 103 verse 12 says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions. But here's what we do. We say stuff like, I forgive you, while our hand stays closed. We release them in public, but we replay it in private. We tell God we've let it go like he doesn't know, and then we stay awake all night rehashing it. And the person that hurt you, they don't even know you're still carrying this thing. Unforgiveness is not hurting them, it's destroying you. And every time you replay it, you give them power. Every time you remember and replay it, you bleed again. And here's the thing, they're not even in the room. They moved on years ago. You're still the one being held in prison. Matthew chapter 6, Jesus said, if you forgive others, your Father will forgive you. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father forgive you. This is not God being harsh. You see, a closed hand can't receive anything. An unforgiving heart blocks the very thing it needs most. Think about the other person right now. Maybe they don't deserve forgiveness. Maybe, just maybe, they never apologized. And maybe they would end up hurting you again if given the chance. But you know what? Here's what Jesus said while being nailed to a cross. 3 words. Father, forgive them. While they were crucifying him, he opened his hand and released them. So here the question is, are you holding on to something Jesus already let go of? Are you carrying a debt that he already forgave? If Jesus could forgive the very people crucifying him, then what are we holding that's worse than that? Remember again, the Greek word for forgive means to release. Open your hand. Let it go. Not because they deserve it. No, not because they deserve the freedom, because you do. The grave is empty. Why are you still digging it up? When we remember how much God has forgiven us, it becomes harder to hold others hostage to their mistakes. You see, when you choose forgiveness, you're setting yourself free from the heavy burdens of anger, depression, anxiety, and resentment. By letting go, you stop the enemy from gaining any more ground in your life. Let it go. Close the door on the enemy's access to your peace. You know, I heard this said many, many years ago, that unforgiveness is like you drinking the poison but believing it's going to affect the other person. That's what unforgiveness is. It's like a poison. You want it to hurt the other person, but at the end of the day, it's hurting you. It's poisoning you. So I want to give you this encouragement, this challenge today. If there's somebody that's wronged you, hurt you, offended you, as hard as it may be, just know that God has provided the grace for you to forgive, for you to walk in freedom. Every time people say things like, you know, I'm gonna not let anybody else into my life. I'm just gonna shut them out. What you're doing is, you're building a wall. And while you think that wall is protecting you, what it's doing, it's not just keeping them out, it's keeping you prisoner. It's holding you hostage to unforgiveness. And like I said earlier, they're on the outside. And they don't even know that you're still harboring this, that you're still holding on to this thing. Don't lose another moment's peace walking in unforgiveness. Choose to forgive. And even though you might say, but you don't know what they did. No, I don't. You're right, I don't. But I go back again to what I said earlier about Jesus. If he could forgive, and I mean forgive from the heart, then what is it we're holding on to that's greater than what he chose to forgive? I encourage you, release it and let it go.